Bree, Kelly, Cecilia. What? Ladies, call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long ago precisely, having little or no money in my purse and nothing particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail about the world a little and see the watery part of it. It is a way it's a way I have of driving off the spleen and regulating the circulation whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is a damp, drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself involuntarily pausing before coffin warehouses and bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, and especially every funeral, well, let's just say, whenever my hypos get such an upper hand of me, depressions, yes, that it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's hats off, then I account it high time to get to sea as soon as I can. This is my substitute for pistol and ball. There is nothing surprising in this, if they but knew it. Almost all men in their degree, sometime or other, cherish very nearly the same feelings toward the ocean with me. There now is your insular city of the Manhattoes, belted around by wharves as Indian Isles by coral reefs. Commerce surrounds it with her turf. Right and left, the streets take you waterward. Its extreme downtown is the Battery. Oh, I got my things broken there. Where that noble mold is washed by waves and cooled by breezes these days. These November days, which a few hours previous were cut out of sight of land. Look at the crowds of water gazers there. Circumambulate the city of a dreamy Sabbath afternoon. Shabbat Shalom. Go from Corlier's Hook to Coenty Slip, and from thence by Whitehall northward. What do you see? Posted like silent sentinels all around the town stand thousands upon thousands of mortal men fixed on ocean reveries. Some leaning against the piles, the spiles, some seated upon the pierhead, some looking over the bulwarks of ships from China. Some high aloft in the rigging, as if striving to get a still better seaward peep. But these are all landsmen of weak days pent up in lithe and plaster tied to counters, nailed to benches, clinched to desks. How then is this? Are the green fields gone? Where do... Hi, Joe. Not yet. Ready? Who do they... What do they... What do they hear? Why are they here? Silly me. Oft in stillness lay. But look, here come more crowds, pacing straight for the water and seemingly bound for a dive. Strange? Nothing will content them but the extremest limit of the land, loitering under the shady lee of yonder warehouses. Will not suffice, no. They must get as nigh to the water as they possibly can without falling, and there they stand, miles of them, leagues, islanders all. They come from lanes and alleys, street avenues, northeast, south, and west. Yet here they all unite. Tell me, does the magnetic virtue of the needles of the compasses of all these ships attract them thither? Once more, say you're in the country, in some high land of lakes, Vermont. Take almost any path you please, and 10 to 1 it carries you down into a dale and leaves you there by a pool in the stream. Then, well, there is magic in it. Let the most absent-minded of men be plunged in his deepest reveries. Stand that man on his legs. Set his feet in a going place, and he will be infallibly led. And he will infallibly lead you to water. If water there be in all that region. Should you ever be athirst in the great American desert, try this experiment. If your caravan happen to be supplied with a metaphysical professor, yes, as everyone knows, meditation and water are wedded forever. Holy water. But here, but here is an artist. He desires to paint you the dreamiest, shadiest, quietest, most enchanting bit of romantic landscape in all the valley of the Saco. What is the chief element he employs? There stands his trees, each with a hollow trunk, as if a hermit and a crucifix were within, and here sleeps his meadow, and there sleep his cattle, and up from yonder cottage goes a sleepy smoke. November. Deep into distant woodlands winds a mazy way, reaching to overlapping spurs of mountains bathed in their hillside blue. But though the picture lies thus tranced, and though this pine tree shakes down its sighs like leaves upon this shepherd's head, yet all were vain unless the shepherd's eye were fixed upon the magic stream before him. Go visit the prairies in June, for from why, the scores on scores of miles you wade knee-deep among the tiger lilies, I've exhausted the wares of time of Rockaway Beach. I must end this calumny. Now when I go to sea, I go as a simple sailor, right before the mast, plumb down into the forecastle, say? Yeah, some would say the forecastle, but I was trained otherwise. The forecastle has a better twine. The rum from Puerto Rico. I would drink some now. November. True. They rather me. They rather order me about, oh yes, and make me jump from spar to spar like a grasshopper in a May meadow. And at first, this sort of thing is unpleasant enough. It touches one's senses of honor, particularly if you come from an old established family in the land. The Van Ransellers and the Randolphs or the Hardicanuts, and more than all, if just previous to putting your head into the tar pot, you have been lording it as a country schoolmaster, making the tallest boys stand in awe of you. Well, the transition is a keen one, I assure you. From a schoolmaster to a sailor, been there, done that. And that requires a strong ladies. The ladies have it. They rule the ship. I can say nothing when they walk by. They strut like sailors strut, and they never nigh. But take to sailing they must. There aren't others, but they have willingly supplied themselves for sailoring. But what? What of it? If some old hunks of a sea captain orders me to get a broom and sweep down the decks, what does that indignity amount to, Wade? I mean, in the scales of the New Testament. What do you think the Archangel Gabriel thinks? Anything less of me? No, I don't think so. Let's make an end to this. Let's make an end to this. Let's make an end to this. I shouldn't know. I take it that this part of the bill must have run something like this. Grand contested election for the presidency of the United States. Whaling voyage by one Ishmael. Bloody battle in Afghanistan.